Are South Africans wrong for wanting Nigerians out of their country? Yes, in the way it is often expressed, through violence, xenophobic attacks, looting of shops, and generalized hostility toward all Nigerians. It is deeply wrong. A grievance, even if it has some valid roots, does not justify collective punishment of an entire nationality. Burning down a man's shop because his compatriot committed fraud is not justice. It is mob rage dressed as patriotism. However, dismissing all South African frustration as pure racism oversimplifies a complex situation. The feelings exist. Understanding why helps us address the real problems. What are the legitimate frustrations South Africans have? South Africa carries deep wounds. Nearly 30 years after apartheid, unemployment sits above 32%, and millions of black South Africans still live in poverty. When foreign nationals, not just Nigerians, fill small business slots in townships, it creates visible economic competition in communities already stretched thin. Some Nigerians have also genuinely been involved in drug trafficking, scam networks, popularly called Yahoo Yahoo, and human trafficking operations in South Africa. While these are a minority, the visibility of these crimes feeds dangerous stereotypes. South Africans watch these crimes happen in their own streets and conflate all Nigerians with the offenders. Where does South Africa's anger cross the line into wrongdoing? The line is crossed when frustration becomes collective punishment. Most Nigerians in South Africa are traders, doctors, students, pastors, and professionals building honest lives, burning their shops, attacking their homes, or chanting "Nigerians go home" punishes the innocent for the sins of a few. Xenophobia also violates the African Union's principles of free movement and Pan-African solidarity, an irony not lost on many, given that African nations sheltered ANC freedom fighters during apartheid, Nigeria included. South Africa's own government acknowledged this debt. Violence repays it with betrayal. What role does Nigeria's government play in this problem? When poverty, unemployment, and insecurity at home are extreme, young Nigerians will seek survival elsewhere by any means. The Nigerian government's failure to create opportunity at home exports desperation to other countries, some of which express that desperation through crime. Nigeria also has a diplomatic responsibility to negotiate agreements with South Africa to protect its citizens legally, just as it must cooperate in extraditing or prosecuting Nigerians who genuinely break South African law. Silence on accountability only inflames resentment. How can Nigerians live more peacefully in South Africa and other foreign countries? This is not about blaming victims. It's about practical wisdom for survival and thriving in foreign spaces. One, respect local laws absolutely. No criminal shortcuts. The consequences fall on every Nigerian behind you. 2, integrate genuinely. Learn local languages where possible. Greet your Zulu or Xhosa neighbor in their tongue. It changes everything. 3, support local economies. Hire locals. Source locally. Don't build a business that extracts from a community without giving back. 4, build community organizations. Nigerian associations abroad should be active in conflict resolution, civic engagement, and good citizen campaigns, not just cultural celebrations. 5, distance publicly from crime. Nigerian communities should be the first to report and condemn criminal actors among them. Silence reads as protection. 6, invest in relationships with host institutions, churches, schools, local government, presence in these spaces builds goodwill and legal protection. Is this a Nigeria versus South Africa problem or an Africa versus itself problem? It is Africa versus itself. And that is the most painful truth. The continent that bled together under colonialism is now drawing tribal lines against its own people. Xenophobia in South Africa mirrors ethnic violence in Nigeria, tribalism in Kenya, and exclusion in Libya. The solution is pan-African in nature. Functional, free trade zones, ECOWAS, and EU mobility frameworks that are actually enforced shared investment in education and jobs so that desperation doesn't become the only export, and political leaders who tell their people the truth that a Nigerian doctor who saves a South African child is not the enemy. Africa's real enemies are poverty, corruption, and the foreign debt structures that keep both Nigeria and South Africa from giving their citizens a reason to stay home.